we're going to get into a really challenging scenario today. I mean, think about this. You're facing an immediate, like, deadly threat. And what you do, your actions, they just seem to have zero effect.
Yeah, it's a scary thought.
It really is.
Yeah.
And it kind of forces us to rethink, what we assume about human resilience, especially when certain substances are involved.
It's a powerful reminder, absolutely. Our assumptions about how people react under extreme stress, or even how effective certain defensive actions are supposed to be, reality can just throw that right out the window.
Exactly. So for this deep dive, we're going to unpack a real incident. This happened in Lufkin, Texas. It was an officer-involved shooting, and it was all captured on badge cam very vividly.
Okay.
Our goal here is to pull out the key lessons, things about, neutralizing a threat, how incredibly resilient the human body can be, and also the really disruptive effects of drugs like PCP. We've been listening to an audio source that breaks this whole thing down.
Mm-hmm. Tells the story.
Yeah, and it's got some chilling details, some really unexpected insights.
And, this isn't just tactical stuff for like law enforcement or military. For you listening, this is a chance to understand these extreme situations in a new way. You can pick up some surprising things about physiology, about tactics, stuff that isn't common knowledge.
Right. Quick learning, maybe some real aha moments that kind of stick with you.
Definitely. Those moments that make you think differently afterwards.
Okay, let's dive in. So the scene starts with a dispatch call. Officers get told there's a man who is stabbing someone.
Okay. Pretty direct.
Yeah, but also the caller is described as belligerent. So right away, you've got very little solid info, just chaos unfolding.
Right. Very little to go on. You can imagine the pressure. What stands out there is how fast things must have escalated from just that tiny bit of information.
Totally. The officer gets there, and their first response is, textbook but crucial. Guns out, giving clear commands, let me see your hands, and trying to get help rolling.
You can almost feel that intensity, right?
Yeah.
Split-second decisions, minimal information, high stress.
And this is where it gets, really unsettling. The news reports later revealed a key detail. The person involved had PCP and marijuana in his system.
Ah, okay. That's significant.
Yeah, and the audio source we looked at, it describes smoking PCP-laced marijuana as, and this is the quote, "it turns you into a zombie."
Wow. That's a potent description. And I mean, physiologically, PCP is a dissociative anesthetic. It literally disconnects the mind from the body's feelings.
Right.
Blocks pain receptors, creates this profound detachment. So no sensation or feeling or care, as the source put it, that's actually disturbingly accurate for the effects of PCP. It makes these situations incredibly dangerous.
And you see that play out immediately here. The officer puts 3 shots on target.
Center mass?
Yep, right in the chest center mass on the guy who's actively stabbing someone else. And the really chilling thing, the analysis in our source says, these shots didn't even affect him.
3 shots didn't affect him.
Not visibly. And these weren't just any rounds. The source made a point of saying they were full-power defensive loads.
So designed specifically to stop a threat quickly.
Yeah.
Maximum energy transfer, expansion.
Exactly, the kind of ammo intended to incapacitate.
Oh.
And nothing.
That just throws a huge wrench into the common understanding of, stopping power, doesn't it? It really highlights the body's resilience, but also how drugs can just completely rewrite the rules of trauma response.
It's shocking. You realize that what normally works,
Yeah.
well, it might not apply here.
So after seeing that, I mean, those shots having no effect, it really challenges our basic assumptions about how you stop the threat, doesn't it? The whole stopping power idea gets complicated fast.
It really does. We hear that term, but this incident, based on our source material, paints a very different picture.
Absolutely. The common idea is you hit center mass, the threat stops. But like we see here, and the expert analysis confirms this, handguns do not immediately incapacitate in most instances.
So those shots cause damage, yes. Lead to bleeding out eventually.
Yes. Severe trauma, eventual blood loss, incapacitation down the line. But very seldom is it an immediate on-the-spot stop, especially, against someone highly motivated or, like here, profoundly influenced by drugs.
Okay. So what is the definitive solution then, according to the analysis?
Well, the material points to a headshot, specifically putting it in the brain. That definitely ends the fight very quickly.
Right. And look, this isn't about being gruesome. It's about understanding the stark biological facts of stopping an immediate deadly threat when seconds count.
Precisely. It's about the reality of neutralization in that moment. And the officer in Lufkin, faced with this reality, showed incredible adaptation.
How so?
Well, after those first 3 shots did nothing, he didn't just keep firing at the same spot. He reassessed and looked for a better angle.
Ah, okay. Adjusted his approach.
Exactly. And then he took that critical aim shot. It really drives home the lesson.
Yeah.
You take as many shots as it takes to make sure the threat is over. You have to adapt to what's actually happening, not what you expect to happen.
And making that kind of shot, that aim shot, under that pressure, that's not luck. The guy was close, right? About 3 yards.
Yeah, very close range.
So putting a significant vital shot in a small space,
Mm.
in that chaos, that takes serious skill. It's pretty remarkable.
It absolutely is. And here's maybe the most incredible part of the story. The stabbing victim. He actually lived.
No kidding. After being actively
It
stabbed.
lived and is expected to make a full recovery. And the audio source credits that partly to the fact that he fought like no tomorrow as well for his life. Just incredible will to survive.
Wow. That's amazing. And the officer, even after everything, showed compassion too, right?
Yeah, the source mentions the officer telling the victim, hey man, hang in there, we're going to get you help. So it's
Wow.
this combination, the officer's decisive action, yes, but also the victim's own fight.
Okay, so let's talk about how an officer achieves that kind of precision under fire.
Hmm.
You mentioned equipment and training as sort of the unsung heroes. Let's start with equipment. The pistol-mounted light,
Hugely valuable. It means you can keep 2 hands on the gun.
which is better for control.
Much better. Best for accuracy, best for speed. And it also lets the officer still see very well what's going on around him, illuminating the immediate area of the threat.
Okay, that makes sense. But the source also mentioned the value of having both a pistol light and a handheld light. Why both? Seems redundant, maybe.
Not at all, actually. It gives you tactical flexibility. The pistol light stays on the potential threat, right? But the handheld light lets the officer say, continue to cover the suspect in case the threat reemerges, while also allowing him to scan the surroundings, look for other threats, check on the victim, whatever, without pointing a gun at them.
Ah, I see. So you can look around without muzzling innocent people or things you don't intend to shoot.
Exactly. It shows how these seemingly small gear choices can really impact your options and safety in a dynamic situation.
And then there's the training. None of this precision happens by accident. The analysis directly linked that crucial shot to skills learned through things like dot torture, small drills, trigger control, and side alignment. Can you unpack those a bit? What are we talking about?
Sure. So, dot torture, despite the name, is a really demanding marksmanship drill. You're shooting at tiny little dots on a target, forcing extreme precision and trigger control.
Okay, pushing accuracy limits.
Right. Trigger control itself is just fundamental, smoothly pressing the trigger straight back without moving the sights off target. Sounds simple, but it's crucial under stress.
And side alignment.
Sight alignment, yeah. Making sure the front sight and rear sight are perfectly lined up on the target, again, seems basic, but absolutely vital for hitting a small, specific spot, especially when everything's happening fast.
So these are the drills, the repetitions, that build the skills needed to perform when you're under immense pressure.
Exactly. It's about building that capability, so it's almost automatic when conscious thought is kind of overwhelmed.
Okay, so let's recap this deep dive on the Lufkin incident. We've seen some incredible, maybe even disturbing lessons. The almost unbelievable effects drugs like PCP can have on someone's body.
Yeah, overriding pain, basic responses.
To the stark truth about immediate incapacitation with handguns. That's not always immediate, even with good hits.
Right, a very sobering reality check there.
The absolute necessity of being able to adapt your tactics on the fly when facing someone who just isn't reacting as expected.
Adaptability is key. Reassessing, finding a new solution.
And finally, how critical both the right equipment, like those lights, and rigorous, specific training are in actually saving lives in these moments.
Couldn't agree more. Training and tools working together.
So this leaves us, and you listening, with something to think about. How does our understanding of human limits and even the effectiveness of our defensive tools need to keep evolving, especially with challenges like new powerful drugs out there?
Mm-hmm. It's a constant evolution. And maybe think about what other hidden factors might be influencing these high-stakes situations. Things we rarely consider, but that could totally change the outcome of an encounter. Something to mull over.